Greetings, one and all, to this week's 10 o'clock... What? You're looking curiously at your curtains.
It's just a noise over there.
We need to be concerned?
I don't know. If I get eaten from something from the window, maybe.
Is it a vampire? Just don't invite them in. It's fine. Greetings, one and all, to this week's 10 o'clock. Xeno, Loz... Wait, no, that way. And then... Crash, who we haven't seen in a long time, and it's absolutely fabulous having you on the show again. You know, damn, I've missed you, man. Right, so
KrashOmnis.
Yep, KrashOmnis.
That was it, and yeah. So we're here every week. This episode 326. Oh my god, I said it right this time. 10 o'clock. So let's get on with this. Right, so. First things first. Nope, that's the intro again. First things first, emblems. Crash. I hope, as a 10 o'clock veteran, you are fully aware of the the shenanigans.
How the whole thing works.
Yeah, how the whole thing works. So, in your opinion, whatever it may be, which is this week's winner?
This is a tough one, because I actually really like both of these. Normally, I have like a strong opinion between them. I'm gonna go with the cuteness.
Yeah.
I like the AK. I've actually shot an AK. I understand why that weapon. Yeah, nice. I completely understand why that. I understand why that weapon is as popular as it is. It was pretty. I found I fired an AK. And not an M16. It was the AR-15 civilian equivalent of an M16, and greatly enjoyed the AK experience in comparison.
Wait, I thought I didn't think there was the AR-15 was like the M16.
M16, yeah. They're not. They're rough equivalents, but they're not equal at all.
Right. Okay. I didn't realize that was
yeah.
Cool.
I think the closest thing would be and the AR-15 is like a whole platform too, whereas I think the M16 is a specific weapon.
I thought, yeah. Never mind. Let's just move on with this. Right. So, yeah. If you wish to win 150 platinum for your platform of choice, go in the description below, and there'll be a link to the Google form where these. What are you looking at?
I got a picture up of the M4 and the R15. I'm like, what's the difference? That's a very clever way of spotting the difference.
I didn't.
Or is that an M4? Oh, there we are. Yeah.
M4, yeah.
M4 and M16 are like different sizes of the same rifle. So they
more or
are
less
15.
No, yes, the M4. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The images. Yeah, the AR-15 does look quite a bit different.
Yeah, it looks like very much like the M4.
Right. So anyway. So if you wish to win 150 platinum for your platform of choice, go in the description below and you'll see a link to the Google form where you'll see these week's emblems, and you will see these week's emblems, and I'm going to get people to harass me and tell me off for not updating them, and simply put in your in-game name for your platform of choice. Make sure you spell it correctly, because if you don't, then DE will not be able to find you, and that's a wasted 150 platinum. Just pick whichever emblem you like the most. It doesn't matter if it's the winning emblem. It used to, but this time, from a while ago, every vote counts. So yeah, that's it. You can only enter once, obviously. So. Right.
Obviously,
Loz. Jeez. And so we move on to the dojo dusting, I think.
Yeah.
You gotta get some audio stingers. See if
I was
thinking of audio stingers.
I was thinking of that, and I was also thinking of like title cards of just like flash it up like there's the next thing.
Yeah.
But
you gotta get like, it's gotta be the sound like a highly stylized sound of a broom sweeping. So it's like whoosh, 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 Dojo dusting.
But so there has been a huge increase in Patreon supporters, and I want to thank absolutely everyone for doing this. There will be a dedicated video thanking everyone for all the effort that they put in, even if you didn't support the Patreon directly, but you ended up sharing the video that I released a week ago Saturday. Again, it all helps, and I'm super appreciative of the whole thing. And yeah, so that mini campaign of getting the funds, it's come a long way. But in this conversation, there was another thing. So I ended up talking to Loz like mere hours ago, and we were talking about whether or not people would be more interested in the Xeno Codex over the Framecast highlights. So there is a link in the description. God, I hope I remember to put this in. There's a link in the description to the Patreon page for voting. I'm thinking I'll also put it in as a card as well, but I kind of want to reduce double votes, but fuck it, let's just put it in a card as well. Basically, what would you rather see? Would you rather have Framecast highlights or the Xeno Codex come back? You can go read the post at least and see what I'm talking about and things like that. We will be doing up the Xeno Codex, so on and so forth. And yeah, the money could be spent on that instead of Framecast highlights. It depends on what people want. And then the last Dojo dusting note I have is directly for Loz Peristalsis.
What about it?
The Plague Star event.
Are you trying to imply something about China here?
No, this was not me. This was Tobiah insisted that this was in the Dojo dusting. It's just for you.
Oh, I see. Thank you, Tobiah. I appreciate it.
Right, so
toxin. That toxin.
Yeah.
Rigor in peristalsis.
Yep. Right, so that's it for Dojo dusting. Next we have the cards from last week.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
before we start the cards, there was a note from Zrugel saying that apparently talked to you about it, had issues with the cards.
Yes.
Last week?
So I saw this, and it appears that YouTube are very finicky on letting people interact with the cards. So different videos, different people can interact with the cards. Unfortunately, there's like sweet fuck all I can do about it. But one thing I have found is that pretty consistently on the mobile app, the cards always work. Right?
Okay, well, if people want to check to see if they can access the cards, if you go into the bottom right of this screen you're in, there's a cog. Click that cog at the top of the top option of the little menu that will pop up. We'll say annotations. You turn that on. And then in the top right of the screen, you'll see the letter I in a little circle. Click that, and then the card pane window should slide out with all the cards on it. It'd be nice if people could give that a go and let us know if people can't get access to it, because that's quite important.
Yeah, so Zrugel went through a painstaking process of trying to identify what the problem was, and literally it's just different user accounts on different videos just do not have access to it. And it's just like really random and really surprising that it's even a possibility it could not work. Anyway, so let's graphs. That was it. Right. So the first graph. Right. Do you want mid? Shut up, phone. Do you want mid Railjack mission loadout swapping? 55 people responded. 12% said that they didn't care, 18% said no, and 69% said yes.
Nice.
Risky bastards. Crash, have you had a chance to do anything Railjack related?
Oh, goodness, no, because to even build the room, I logged in, and I was like, looked at the amount of things I needed to build the dry dock, and was like, well, and then, I think I did manage to build it, and then I was doing the research for Psy, and I was like, "Well, looks like I need to not be in a ghost clan anymore." So no, unfortunately, I have done absolutely nothing with Railjack besides ogle other people's footage of it.
Fair enough. If you're interested, you're welcome to join Frameface.
Yep, that's probably what I'm going to do.
There we go. Loz, we got a cool kid. So cool.
That's interesting. I'm just wondering is that a clever way for DE to make, because obviously there are a load of people out there sitting in their smaller clans of 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, and people say like, well, I'm happy to sit in my clan and just like this. And is it maybe a clever way of DE making people go back into big clans, and then we can actually go do clan events again, because clans will actually have full rosters of people, because you have to be in there to gain access to things? Maybe
I feel like that's always been in there. I feel like that's always kind of been in the back of their mind, because I mean, like I was of 2 minds when I was listening to Jenna Bain's thing about Warframe, because I was like, I completely understand this, because I like playing solo. I'm the kind of person who like I could dig playing an MMO solo, or anything things with MMO features, but I also think that the real value you'll get out of the game is going to happen more because of what you do with a team than what you do by yourself, you know? So,
yeah, no, I completely agree with this. And yeah, it is what it is. But going back to the actual card, I am very surprised by the number of people that said yes to change their loadout mid-mission. So the whole premise of this was coming from a topic where people were complaining, saying, you know, allow us to swap our loadouts partway, so either between missions or partway through a mission. And I was interested, like I think Loz and myself and our guest Debbie Sheen last week, we're all adamantly against swapping mid-mission, but it's very, very interesting to see the number of people that want to see it mid-mission.
I feel like it breaks the sci-fi rules too much. I'm like, you're going to swap out certain things. Like, I don't know. I could see, for instance, like in EVE Online, I would keep other lenses with me. All right, because I used to do Amar, so I'd have all kinds of lasers. And so I would have all the different lenses that change your damage types. And like, I could see that where you're like, okay, change the damage type, and then it has like a 10-second cooldown, and then you can fire again. And that was cool. There was some kind of strategy to it. But this idea, I don't know. I feel like in Warframe we have this idea that like we can change everything at all times, and everything can be different and it's like, look, there's a certain point where you just didn't prepare properly.
Well, especially that you can bring what? You can bring a rifle, a pistol, a melee weapon, a superpowered Star Child, and a heavy weapons platform, and depending on mission, a a pair of jetpack wings with more things on them. So that's what we're up to. At least 5 different things you can spec.
Wait. Sorry, what's your weapons platform and what's your jetpack wings?
Oh, the big gun.
The weapons platform is the big gun.
Yeah, because it's a weapon.
Okay. No. I thought by weapons.
I guess you could call. Actually, to us, you could call Arkwing a weapons platform.
Yeah, that was
rifle, pistol, melee weapon, heavy gun, Tenno, Arkwing was weapons platform. There you go.
Yeah, cool. Right.
But between damage types and things, you can swap that. The only thing I would say I would want on the Railjack mission swapping is after I have finished a mission, so I don't have to go back to the dojo to change.
Yep. I'm down
That's the only
for
thing
that.
I want. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got nothing really to add to this. This is a little bit shocking. Right, should we move on to the next card?
Yeah.
Cool. Next card. Right. Do you abandon Railjack missions with objectives? So last week there was a topic saying that the objectives where you've got like a super weapons platform, or you've got a hangar to invade or whatever, that they didn't feel rewarding. So the original poster wanted additional stuff added to those mission types. And I think someone posted that, they would leave the mission, or maybe I'm just misremembering, that they would leave the mission as soon as they saw that there was a objective to be done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And, so a simple question of, do you abandon Railjack missions with objectives? So 54 people responded, 3% said yes, and 96% said no. I'm kind of surprised by this, because I would have thought more people would have said yes.
I mean, that is pretty decisive.
Yeah.
At least for the people who responded.
Yeah. Cool. I don't really think that there's anything to add to this.
The only thing I would say would be nice to see that clearly people don't mind the objectives, and maybe we could have some more variety in there. Would people seem okay with it? People aren't literally just abandoning it just to do the easy kill mission only.
Yes.
Though I think the kill mission serves a very important purpose, because especially on Earth, because I think the first 2 missions should just be kill fighters, not even in cruise ships, to just get people into it. But yeah.
Cool. And then the third graph, the last graph, is, have you done the second Nightwave intermission? So both Loz and I were saying that neither of us have done it, because there seems no urgency to get it done. There's no deadline of when it will end. 57 people responded, 15% said no, and 84% said yes. That yes is a lot higher than I expected it to be.
I think it shows more the type of player that we get watching 10 o'clock are more likely to commit to these sort of things.
Yes, true. Very true. Very true.
I actually started trying to do the intermission to catch up, but then I came to the realization that it's almost pointless, because unless you are really going to commit to it, because you'll clear through your week's one, and then eventually you'll start getting in batches of 3 previous ones.
Yeah.
But even then, eventually what will happen to your 3 previous ones in previous weeks is they're going to get clocked down with kill a Hydralist, kill a Hydralist, kill a Profit Taker.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be like...
Well, do you have to complete all 3 of...
It gives you 3. You can't swap those 3 out until you do more.
No, but what I mean is, like, say you've done the weeks, you then get 3. If you complete one of them, does it instantly get replaced?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
But... You can't
I
roll
still
out, even if you've got like another 60 waiting.
Yeah,
you must do this one. And then I was like, even on the week, I think it was this week or maybe last week, there was a do a Hydralist, and I just sat there staring at it and being like, I can't even get access to the previous ones until I do that. And if I wait till next week and clear next week's, that's going to pop up first, and then it's like, great. Like I do appreciate these things having. I love Nightwave and I think it's brilliant, but I can understand putting in Profit Taker and Hydralist. It probably has actually increased the amount of people doing that content. But at the same time, it's like it's such a stumbling block, because there's no. You have to put a group together properly to do it. You can't just queue. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So that's it for the cards of this week, and now we're gonna move on to the lovely Patreon questions, which there are a lot of.
Oh wow.
Patreon.
Drunk Paul, who is the worst Warframe to give a triple espresso to, and can we weaponize this?
I would say. I can only think of Gauss. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Gauss, give him the triple espresso and say that direction, go.
I was just thinking, like, here you go, Gauss, dies of heart attack.
Right.
Just ragdolls on the floor.
I would have said either like Nova or Limbo, because when you're hopping between dimensions or teleporting around like that, the least thing you want is somebody who's twitching their fingers. You'll end up one part there, one part over there.
You got a wormhole, and it just splits off into 6 different locations. You're like,
exactly.
I'm not going through that.
Drunk Paul also asks, why are there no Relic Arcwing missions?
Because people don't like Arcwing, and therefore they're wrong.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is, right, what DE would do is they would put them in the rotation so that there would be times when there would only be like an Axie Relic, you'd have to take an Arcwing option, and people complain. Because, sadly, sometimes DE doesn't seem to understand the idea of adding additional things, so that there's the set missions we have now, and there will always be, let's say, one Arcwing mission in there as an addition. Like, you literally will always have the same amount you have now, and the algorithm doesn't change, but there's additional, maybe in each tier, an Arcwing option, so it does not take anything away of people who don't want to do it. They never do that. They'll go, oh, cool, we'll add Arcwing missions in, and then they'll add it in the rotation, and there'll be some clever clogs who will sit up, and at 3 a.m. they'll find out that like 3 of the tiers will have nothing but Arcwing missions because of some, bad rolling on the RNG, and then they're like, oh my god, Relic's unplayable, do not want to play Arcwing mission, everyone complained, and everyone explodes about it because they don't understand, just put it in addition, so you have the choice.
Yeah.
So that will never happen.
You've essentially explained why I stopped playing tabletop games.
Oh, really?
It's because RNG sucks. Like, it's just, that's the thing is, the idea was supposed to be that the randomness is supposed to serve the story and force you to improvise, right? But the problem is that sometimes that improvisation gets a little, I don't know, the rule set doesn't fit that level of randomness.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you have something where it's like, is Arcwing just one of the possible missions? Right. When you roll a die, does it decide Arcwing or not? So is it deciding 50-50, or is it deciding all other missions plus some Arcwing ones on the bottom here? And then even then, you're like, because it's random, it is entirely possible that you can get Arcwing. Looks like I'm not playing today.
Yes, and then everyone complains.
Yeah, like I generally don't do, and it's really only because of how random the other people are too. Because if I'm going to do relics, I'm going to do them on a fast mission type, on something I know I can cheese. And I don't really do it because when I'm there, I'm really only farming. And if I'm farming, like I'm my big old tractor with my giant combine, like I'm gonna do it the easiest way possible, because if it ends up being difficult, I would like to progress something.
I really think that something that could lead towards us seeing Arcwing based relics is actually Arcwing based bounties. You got to ease people into doing Arcwing based content. You can't just like dump them. I think too many people would complain about it. The idea is that if you had an Arcwing bounty, right? So you start a stage in a bounty. So it's not like the whole thing. So you might have go do this bounty in Orb Valis, and one stage of it is you got to chase something down. You got to chase down a ship, right? And you need your Arcwing to do it. Yeah,
I think you'd have to have separate Arcwing bounties so people knew what they're getting in for. If it was just, again, it's the same problem. If you just put that in the random roll and people are trying to farm their level 4 bounties, and then oh god, I got an Arcwing one, I hate this, why? You have to give people the option.
You think?
Arcwing stuff too kind of needs to be like, the missions have to be tailored to the control set, so that way it doesn't feel like, well, I'm really doing Orb Valis bounties, but they just kind of have this strange little thing that I have to use the Arcwing. So like there needs to be that differentiation, because as I've been learning, is that most of video games is the illusion of what's called achievement. It's the illusion of achievement, and you have to have, like, for it to be an Arcwing mission, and then it would need to be like the Arcwing has to be essential to what you are doing. You can't do it without it. That's the best way to put it. The same thing with Railjack. Like, you need to have a big old ship that you can blow stuff up with, or you're not going to survive. Which is why I remember, like, I haven't played it. So, but when people were complaining about, I'm getting blown up outside of the ship, I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. This is how. Welcome to battle. The reason why the guys with the big guns come out is because you want them to be like, all right, here's the big guns, don't get too close. And then when you have to kind of establish that, like, okay, and then you open up a way for your little guys to come in and do stuff. And also DE could learn a lot from you online, in my opinion. A whole lot.
What was that sneaker for?
No. I just I'm not disagreeing. It's just like, DE got on it.
But
Yeah.
I think that was the snigger EVE Online, which, to be honest, I think is bad because even though I don't play EVE Online, I can appreciate the fact that it's been going for, oh god, I don't know how many long years now.
I played it back, but in high school.
Must be at least, is it 20 years yet? Must be close to 20 years.
No idea.
It's got to be.
Must be getting close to 20 years.
Since I was playing it in 2004.
It's one server, so everything you have there matters,
Yeah.
and they constantly keep expanding it. Yes, it's still spreadsheets in space, but yeah, they have.
Oh yeah.
No matter what size of ship you are playing, there is something for you to do.
Yeah.
And so,
Yep. You have a job, and savvy fleet leaders can figure out ways to utilize different things, and they're all. And I also like how they, they're very good about testing things so that they don't accidentally cause like ridiculous meta shifts all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah, even the smallest guys, your job is to run in and jam up ships and make them not be able to move, and then you have to get proper orbital velocity, right? And if you have a correct amount of orbital velocity, their guns can't get you, right? And so you have to be within a certain range, and it's like that's nerdy space sci-fi battles, yo.
Yep. Well, I keep saying when I get old and retire, because I know it'll still be around. Like I'm just gonna play EVE Online. And I spend all day long playing EVE Online because I just feel you could do that with that game. But anyway, back to these questions. Kindle says, why won't DE just make more game modes? Mix it up. Have side objectives pop up in a survival mission, for example. Have more multi-stage missions like Kuva Fortress Assault. Now, I'm going to step on this one. Kuva Fortress Assault was an interesting idea, but it's just too static. If you want to have something like Kuva Fortress Assault, where you've got multiple objectives, and seeing that DE seems to be slowly always going away from, Xeno will back me up because he loves it so much, the procedurally generated maps. That was what's one of the core things of Warframe at the start that enabled them to make what felt like a big game from very little, because it was always different every time. And what they chuck more tiles in, wow, this feels like a different mission again. I don't get why they can't come up with multi-stage missions which are randomized. So you don't know what your next objective is going to be.
This was something that you highlighted moments ago. With you have to tell people that the bounty they're going to do has Arcwing in it.
No, that's fine. Yeah. But that's what this person is saying. We'll make more game modes. I mean, they said have side objectives pop up in a survival mission. I would then not call that a survival mission anymore. It'd become a new type of mission.
I think
survival advanced. So people, when they click on that, they know that's what they're getting in for. That's the only thing I'm saying with that. So you could have a Kuva Fortress Assault sort of Arcwing mode or Railjack where there's random objectives, but you know what you're getting in for when you click the node. That's the key thing.
I think that, yes, it's good to have more game modes, but the problem I'm feeling that DE are experiencing, they're struggling to come up with game modes that feel unique enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But you don't have to remake the wheel. And that's what they're trying to do. Like you've always said, it'd be great if they just literally expand on the platforms they have with the existing elements they have. Let's say you went onto Old Valis and there was, or in the plains, you go down to the caves and then there's the procedurally generated mission sections that then, there's a spy vault this time. I'd love to do a spy vault on Orb Valis with the Orb Valis tile set, Orb Valis enemies. It'd feel different. And I come out and I go a different mission somewhere else and I feel like I'm going back and forward from the Valis, but I'm always on there. You just use the game mode you've already got, tweak them very little. Instead, they're trying to remake the wheel every time instead of just making more out of what they already have.
I think that their biggest problem, there are two things I think are problems with why this ends up not happening a lot. I think the biggest one is that they really need to constantly be working for cohesion, right? The reason why what they showed us with Railjack at this past TennoCon was so powerful is because everything was working together towards the goal of doing this one cool thing, and it brought all of a lot of the different things in the game and kind of made them all but they all serve this bigger gameplay purpose. And so that's why I've been saying since the first TennoCon, cohesion, right? In an abstract sense, not just this one little thing you did here serves this other. No, in the big sense, because that gives that illusion of achievement. And then the second thing also is that this is a game of cheese. A lot of players like to think of themselves as Warframe players, and I would say, no, you are farmers, and you like to turn everything into the easiest cheat. And like I just said, I did with what I do with relic missions, right? So I'm guilty of this. But what we do is we get like the best possible frame for it, and we kit it out exactly the way it needs to be, so we can just do this thing that would have been difficult, but because we've worked our butts off, now it's like a 5-second thing. And so eventually, a lot of players are sort of trained, whether the game does this or not, I don't know. They're essentially trained to remove all of the difficulty from it, so they can get the thing, and that doesn't serve the sense of achievement because, well, the thing you really worked hard on was making sure that you didn't have to work very hard.
I agree entirely with what you've said. I think that maybe it's time to, like, Loz is saying, don't break the mold in terms of the mission types that already exist. Let's just add on to them. Yeah, I am in agreement with that. But at the same time, I'm wondering, like, you know, it would be nice if we could just have more, hey, look, here's Railjack with 8 people on it. You know, here's, you know, I think things like the linked missions, Squad Link, that was it. I'm trying hard to remember what it's called. The whole thing with Squad Link, I think, will enable them to do more. I just hope that they do more than what they already have. You know, so it's like, oh, go do this secondary objective. Like, well, could we have secondary objectives that are different from what we've already had?
Yeah.
You know, so instead of actually, here you go, instead of actually destroying a reactor on a Grineer Galleon, we have to actually fix it. You know, to get the Grineer Galleon out of the way.
That could be cool. Yeah, it's simple things, but I don't get it that they make these gaming platforms like Obvalis and the Plains of Eidolon, and they should use those as springboards to add more content onto the thing they've already made.
Yeah,
you know, make you do more things on this thing, and then they just abandon them and go made a whole new platform, and then abandon that to make a whole new platform instead of expanding and developing the platform. Well, they don't have to put everyone on it, just put a few people. The job is to add things to the existing platforms while they make a new one. Instead, they don't. They just completely leave them alone. It's sad.
Do you think we'll get the 3rd Orb Mother this year?
No. I don't. I think we'll ever get the 3rd Orb Mother. It's forgotten. It's just too many other things they're working on. That's a problem. But let's move on for now because we've got lots of questions to get through.
Yeah.
Joshua Minchin says, when TennoCon happens, what likelihood is there of a meetup with Patreon peeps?
Done. Make it happen. I will make it happen, sorry.
Joshua Minchin also says, if they put some version of stalk mode in the game, who do you stalk first? Could be anyone.
Whoever the game tells me to.
If I could only stalk one person...
No.
I understood the question. But if I could only stalk one person, I would wait until Joey starts streaming.
Yes, go ahead. Joey.
Yeah. I could just envision, like, you know, all of a sudden he's like struggling against this one stalker. The stalker like kicks his ass, and all of a sudden the stalker's teabagging him, and then he's just like, "God damn it, Xeno!"
Deary me. Ozadak says, should there be NPC Tenno that are leaders of each focus school in game?
Fuck yes! I actually really like that idea.
Awesome.
Seeing as we've already had Rel, who is an NPC Tenno, I think we should have more.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love that idea.
Really feel like we're an actual faction. It's not just us in our ship with the ghosts of the past.
Well, we don't even have Rel anymore, do we? He did Ghosts of the Past.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Nick Evans asks, what's your ideal relaxation drink? And pick 3 characters, at least one Warframe one, to sit around and drink it with?
Root beer and wait, just three characters.
Yep, at least one from Warframe.
Kind of want to say Thrall from Warcraft. So who would be a good character from maybe Yudiko or the Biz from Warframe?
Technically, we did talk to the Biz.
That's true. God, who? No, Tilragor from Warframe. Because I have actually had a drink with Lucas. And what other game would I do? Kind of just want to say like Artanis from StarCraft, but again, that's just another Blizzard IP. I kind of feel I should go away from that. I don't know. That's a really hard question.
Crash?
Yes, we understand, child. He's making noise. No. I think my best drink would probably be just black coffee. I know it's not a relaxation drink, but
isn't it?
For some reason, it's really hot. It's kind of like the bitterness, kind of refreshing in a way. So, I would definitely want to drink with Ballas. Kind of that looming, before terrible things had befallen him. But yeah, I would say Ballas, and then Varian from Warcraft. After the two parts come back together.
Yeah.
And then who else?
Who else is the thing that's like the hardest part?
Yeah. Trying to think of is there anything I've been playing recently? Or there's like a character that I care about? Because maybe not.
Well, the thing is, there are characters I care about, but they're like characters that wouldn't fit in the whole bar scene or pub scene or things like that. So it's just like, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I've completely blanked on his name. The guy from StarCraft.
Raynor?
Yeah.
Jim Raynor.
Yeah. Jim.
I don't know,
Talk to Jim.
I can just imagine him going like, I'm all broody because Cher is gone. Brood.
Yeah.
Oh no, Cher is back. I'm left now. You can't find me. Brood.
I've just saved the universe and Sarah's back again.
Brood.
Oh man, that guy.
Next question.
What is it with Warcraft and gravel voices? They've perfect.
I want to know if they put any After Effects or any voice effects on Thrall. I really want to know if Chris Metzen can get his voice that low.
Yeah.
Anyway, Loz, next question.
If you don't get sent it as part of the partner program, Nick Evans, I said.
Okay.
You missed it though. If you don't get sent it as part of the partner program, would you actually buy the clan sigil when DE released it?
Yes. I'd probably buy it for everyone else as well.
Probably won't use it, but I'd still buy it.
I'm not actually a partner anymore, so I wouldn't know.
Sorry, Crash. I'd buy it for you.
Yeah.
Well, it's just you get to put your clan emblem on your chest.
Oh yeah.
Kind of Zachary Owen or Lowen Antonio says Sundir Warframe ?
Sundra.
I can't. Yes, Chimras live in chasms. You are right.
Sundra Warframe. Yes.
Zrugal says, did you add face rig to your list of show preparations?
I did.
Zrugal says, are the constant face rig questions annoying?
No.
Zrugal says, I can stop if they are. It's just funny at this point.
That's a statement.
Kindle asks how open players are to premium. How open? How open players are to premium battle pass? ? Given that the monies go to better and more consistent contents, definitely not inspired by Destiny 2. I don't know. I wonder. I assume this is supposed to be how open would players be to a premium battle pass for Warframe, given that the money would be going to a better and more consistent content, definitely not inspired by Destiny 2. Now, in some ways, Prime Access is kind of the way that Warframe has been doing a battle pass thing to get a constant income stream to the company and give people the ability to buy content. But Destiny 2, I've heard, has done some good stuff with their battle passes. I'm tempted. Next one pops up. Oh, excuse me. I might actually buy it to see how much content you actually get for your money.
Talk to Zale about it.
Oh, I've got to cover up. Cover up playing it.
Okay. Okay.
Or
Well,
Zale.
I've heard from Zale. I vaguely remember talking to Zale about this, and he says like the last battle pass was pointless.
Right.
So it's just like I'm
kind of hit or miss.
I'm kind of against the battle pass system because, as far as I can tell, there is exclusive content locked behind it. So instead of having this open floor plan to just rushing what you want to rush, it's then becoming like, oh yeah, here's all the free stuff you're going to get, except for this stuff over here, which is on a pedestal because you have to pay money.
Well, the one thing I found difficult to know about the Destiny 2 content is when a battle pass finishes, how do you get that content if you missed it? It doesn't. Does it become open to everyone?
I don't know. I don't think it does. I don't think you can get it anymore.
Yeah, but it's weird because if that's any of that is like a mission or anything, then that's it. It's gone. I'm like, well, that's weird. The last question is from the Voidsmith. So it's TennoCon. You managed somehow to sneak into Scott's office where you managed to steal his mighty nerf hammer. What gets hit first, and for what?
Fuck.
Armor scaling. Job done. I'm sick
the
of hearing about it. Not
the requirement of what's it called, needing Intrinsics 4 to use the torpedo tube.
I haven't even played it, and I know exactly what you're talking about because I've heard him complaining.
It's really interesting though because Loz, your point of like the whole armor scaling thing, right? Like they're talking about changing the whole armor scaling to be a logarithmic curve instead of an exponential curve. Okay, that's fine and everything, but you'll still have the problem with the damage output because they're talking about changing.
Oh, I know.
And it's just like instead of dying at level 100 enemies.
No, the problem is the armor scaling is stupid, right? And it is a stupid issue, and you can isolate that one stupid issue, and then because that can be thrown at the forefront or as used as a argument that people just chuck up whenever they need to, it occludes the actual real issues that you've just pointed out. That once you fix that, you'd be like, oh, but there's still what about this, and this? You haven't fixed any problem. But until you remove off the table the ability to everyone point and say, look, it's armor scaling's fault, people won't even realize what the actual problem is.
Well, the thing I've got to raise is the fact that why do people want to be in missions that last that long? Like, why do you want to be in a 40-minute survival or an hour-long survival or an hour-and-a-half-long survival to get to enemies that can one-shot you? Right? Enemies that you can't deal... Like, why do you want to be in the game? That I've done it in the past, and I find it so exhausting, I have to put the game down. With the game having, like, 10-minute to 20-minute long missions, like, I always feel I can catch my breath to keep going for hours.
Well, also, at some point, you want to, like, get out of the game and enjoy whatever it is you got from the last mission, or like adjust your setup, or I don't know. I find the core gameplay loop is really great, and I totally understand because there have been a couple of times where we've done like as long as we can possibly go, and it was pretty fun, but it was novel. The second that's no longer novel, like I'm bored with that. At least with that, with that going 3 hours. Come on. This coming from the guy who like stayed up all night and got like 1 million credits off of Gradivis, so I remember that.
actually, here's a random side point. I don't know if you're aware of this. Megan asked if DE could bring back any one event, what event would you want it to be? I've had 2 people turn to me. So I turned to Megan, tagging me in it, saying Gradavis Dilemma, so Xeno would shut up about how good it was. And I'm like, that's not going to make me shut up about how good it was. That's just going to have you experience how good it was.
That's fuel for the fire.
Yeah, it's just going to make it...
It's because... It's Gradavis because, it introduced I thought was an interesting, like, it's Exterminate, but better. You know, like, it was cool. I liked it. And then, not only that, but you got decent reward. There was a lasting, not super lasting, but it was it felt like there were serious stakes here, you know? And then, of course, I wanted the Datron, but the Brack was amazing, you know, when that was what came out. So,
well, to me, the big thing is the fact that it made a huge divide between the player base. I swear it was the Loz. You may actually remember the node. Do you remember the one node that it took? Oh God, I think it was a day, if not 2. For the Corpus to eventually take it off of the Grineer.
Yeah.
It was a Saturn node, right?
It was all on Saturn.
No, oh God. Yes, no, it was. No, wait, did the event expand out to other planets, or?
No, it started on the Gravidius node and then expanded out from there.
Right. But yeah, there was one node on Saturn that, the Corpus reward was better, but the Grineer, it took like the Corpus, I think it was a solid day before the Corpus actually won the node. Like, I just remember fighting on that node for absolute ages.
Well, the thing is Gradavis felt like it was novel because it was its own little thing, whereas these like little conflicts that pop up here and there are annoying because I'm sitting there and I'm like, but I needed the node, you know?
Yeah.
And then I know now you can choose between them, but the way it came back was in like a less meaningful way, I guess. The other things, it seems like nothing really gets added to the pool of possible things. So it's like once I had all the things, I have no reason to have anything to do with any of those invasions anymore.
Find anything else?
I found several maps, but I can't try and find the... Or maybe if I type in Gravidius Diamond map. Yes.
I still have my silly video I made for it that wasn't that great. Actually, that's the first video I ever put on my channel.
Oh, wow. Really, that just shows how important the Gravidius Diamond was.
Yeah.
Well, I was inspired because I was, there was kind of like a political tone to the whole thing, and I'm like, well, if you're going to take a political tone, then guaranteed neither side is really advertising their real reason for being involved in it.
Yeah, Allard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the that was the crux of it. It was actually feeling like the universe was actually alive and could change and shift. It was the first time that actually happened. I remember that after the Grineer took one node, which was the Corpus Defense map. It's sort of not the big one with the dam that's huge, the square one. The one in the snow. And it's a very old map tile. I can't really got any way to describe it other than that. But it was, the first time I got to fight on that map against
I know
Grineer.
what you're talking about.
And it was like, whoa, it felt so different to be like fighting enemy. The enemies shifted on a map. It's like you would only for every time before that, you'd only fight Corpus on that map, and then it's like, oh god, I'm fighting the Grineer. It's so different. It was amazing, and the way that the community interacted with the event was also what really boosted it to high levels, because it was just like, I know that it was mainly it was weird because it was shifting between. The bigger clans decided we're going for the Brack, Grineer going to win because we like Grineer. But they would be up against any time the rewards were in favor of the Corpus, because if you put a reactor or a catalyst or a former on the rewards for the Corpus, all the random players would be like, well, I'm going to vote for what I find is the best reward from that mission. and people really wanted their catalyst and reactors back then. So you know, some of the nodes when that happened would just get bogged down. But anytime it was fair or even in the Grineer's favor of what the reward was, it just got blitzkrieged in seconds. It was amazing. And it started out on one node and it was kind of like a left-right thing, and then they opened up a second avenue of attack from like the south of the map. So there was two fronts going, and it was like, oh god, there's like battle fronts going on here. It felt so amazing.
Yeah,
you felt like you were actually part of like a meaningful war, quote unquote, in Warframe history.
Yeah,
and to be fair, a lot of that is the novelty of it. Again,
word,
you know.
But I think they could have expanded on it. But instead, what they did is they took that concept, pulverized it down into its simplest of forms, and then just threw it at the solar system as a whole. They could have saved that sort of event as a special thing they run every 3 months. It's a fact, you know, they could have come up with a reason for a faction contest between X faction and Y faction on Pluto today, and then it's on Mercury in 3 months' time.
Well,
think of it this way. Do it this way. All right, take the great stuff about Gradivis and mix it with the cool stuff about oh goodness, words escape me. The thing. No, it's not the event. Nightwave. Right? Like take some of the cool things about both of them, combine them, and then just like once a quarter, so every 3 months, and it's always a new thing. And so it's like it's these little installments here and there. No need for any like huge reveal, but you could if you want. But it's always like, you know, if one side wins, here's what you guys get. If the other side wins, here's what it gets. It could push the story forward, or it could just be a totally episodic thing or whatever. I think, honestly, it would be fun as long as it's never the same thing in a row. It's never the same planet in a row, or it's never the same story in a row. And you don't always do the same type of rewards, right? Like it's not always, you're always choosing between the Datron and the Brack. Right?
Yeah.
Or you're not always choosing between two secondary shotguns, or right? So it's
I don't think
the rewards aren't exactly the same.
You could even give cosmetics. I think people would fight over cosmetics, to be honest, in this day and age.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you could take something like the Ergo Glass event. What was that called? The Glass Gambit, where you're trying to save that girl. And if you made that into a faction war over a region, and made it the one side wants to sacrifice the girl, the other side want to save the girl, and then the winning side gets to change the plot of the game. I in small little ways. I mean, that girl hasn't had any effect beyond just whatever, you know. Even though players got to choose whether to sacrifice her or save her in one way or the other. And yeah, it was cool. So you could take that into, I think, Crash right, and you could do that with Nightwave. Yeah. Like you could have. One side wants to capture the wolf, the other side wants to free the wolf and all the Grineer people who are being experimented on. It could be, you know, and in this last one, we could have had, you know, you could be supporting the infested kid or against the infested kid, and it's only at the end if the infested kid wins, who's he's healing everyone, yeah, but he's infested, you know. And if he wins, you then realize how evil he was. It's like, whoa, it's a little of a turn at the end. Wow, that's amazing. You know, that's what they could have done. And they had. That's what annoys me, because it has all those elements there. They have all those parts, those little chunks, ready to go. They just need to put, you know, bits of Lego, just put them together in a different way and ship them to us. Instead, they go, oh, we've got all this box of Lego. I'm going to go over there and build some new Lego bricks to build. No, you've got the Lego bricks in the box here. No. I need to build more Lego bricks to build things with. No, you've got them in the box right here.
Do you remember Total Biscuit's truism about the game? It's ruins of a castle built on the ruins of a castle.
Yeah.
I think we can adjust that slightly. I feel like the thing with Warframe is that it is a mile-long like display of loose ends. And the biggest problem is that they need to figure out how to tie them together, because the real problem is that it's like you keep going, like the way I talked about it in the first TennoCon was that you're in the Lisette, and then you do a mission thing, and then you're just back in the Lisette. Then you do this other mission, and you're back in the Lisette. And then it's like things don't feel together. Like the experience of the game always kind of seems to go like one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back. Like you're always coming back to some sort of like status quo. There isn't this like true full orb feeling of like actually progressing towards something. except for MR. It's like the only thing that gives you like this concrete, like, oh, I'm better now. You know, I did all the stuff, and now there's more stuff I can do. You know, I'm more powerful, or I'm whatever.
Cool. Should we move on to the community responses?
Are we in a topic?
We haven't got a topic yet. That was just the Patreon stuff.
All right.
Oh dear.
I can stop waxing eloquent, but I feel like that's my job.
I think it's fine. Let's just keep going. I'm like, wow, that was a cool topic. That wasn't a topic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right, so on the responses to the last video, you said the one about Zoogle and the having problems with the cards. Stormfist 101, why make Railjack a living space when it's going to get shot at? All your stuff will catch on fire. Exactly.
Yep.
Juraxin Blackbird, I think a decent compromise for Railjack decoration would be some form of patterning or decals that can be applied to the walls and floors without necessarily allowing anyone to drop physical objects like in the Lasette. Fair enough. Yeah, I think that's
a part of me also would like this. This is a brand new ship. This is a different interior. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know. So
yeah. So then, Cynical No-Lock, petition to have an official 10 o'clock shit my phone segment from this day forth. Each thumbs up is a vote for yeah.
How many thumbs up did he get?
1 from me.
Shit my phone!
Shit my phone.
What did I do? Did I drop it?
I thought it was mine. I can't remember. We honestly forget what happens to it as soon as an episode finishes. Next is from a Nifty Dragon. I've not actively been doing the intermission. I've been getting acts done randomly while hunting my Lich and farming Railjack. I already have the rewards. The only thing I'd want is the Umbra Former, but fuck farming through the bullshit to get it. Yeah, I'd want the Umbra Form as well. That's the one thing I want. But it's more... I would happily do like 99% of what the missions are, even some of the silly ones. Like, I don't mind the farming fish, even on the plains, which I hate doing. I'd gladly do that. But when it's like, oh, go do something that requires 4 people, I'm like, no, it annoys me. But I can appreciate that probably has increased the people using that content. But it just.
It's like the difference. It's like the difference between giving your money to charity because you want to, and giving the money to charity because it's expected of you. I feel like it's the same. That's the same concept there.
I have a proposition. So, like, one of the biggest problems for the Nightwave missions is things like the Tridolon, or what's the name of the other thing? The Profit Taker. But what if it was the Exploiter Orb? I'd have zero issue if it was the Exploiter Orb, because that's a fun fight.
Exploiter?
Yeah.
Yeah, Exploiter works, but Profit Taker and Hydralist are just these... Oh, God. You can't even... I think you can queue for the Profit Taker, at least. I think Profit Taker, at least you can queue for, so you could just brute force and eventually get it done. But you can't directly queue for Hydralist. You have to find a group that are willing to do all 3. It's just like... You know, I don't know.
Maybe an attunement. I know you're WoW players, so you should understand what I mean by that. Is that there should be like a fairly difficult, requires a group, but you can acquire something that then allows you, and it would have to be like the group would have to have it. It can't just be like, well, one person has it, and so now you can, because in this game, it's like you can just, well, now you can taxi everyone to it. But it's like, but if your group has, if you all have the Hydralist attunement, done. Summon Hydralist, good to go.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even begrudge it if it was a crafted consumable as well that was quite expensive. I'd happily do that. But, you know, I've tried to do it a couple of times, and when you find a group that do the terror list fine, but then fail on the gaunt list, and it's like, you've only got a small window to do it, and I know it's fun, and I know it's a skill when you try and do it, but it's like, I just want to get my Nightwave done. It's just like, I just gave up on it. Just couldn't be bothered. Saw that and was like, no, I'm going to try this time. Which really makes me sad. So it makes me remember that when the next Nightwave comes up, I'm going to have to do things on the week. Yep. Right, the last one is from JJ24. Content drought and new content. It's been a long one, but I thought I'd give you the full thing. A stream of posts saying We want DE to focus on refining the content we already have. The issue here is DE is focused on polishing the game. Most of the updates are hotfixes upon hotfixes. The problem is their current development cycle healthy and efficient. I think isn't healthy and efficient. We are seeing DE get more and more ambitious, but that comes at a cost. The scope creep is getting a tad ridiculous now. Every year they develop this massive update like Plains of Eidolon, Fortuna, Empyrean, but it is negatively affecting the game and the lore. When players say they want DE to refine the game, I feel they must be saying, please use what you already have created in an interesting way. They are asking more events and are needed something along the lines of Plaguestar. Exactly what Loz was saying about how DE dropped the 1 to 2 3-week events in the past when the game was smaller, but now focus so much on the grandiose content drops instead.
So one thing that was really interesting was Rebecca did an interview with GameSpot, I want to say, and it was released earlier this week. And
another one.
Yeah. She went to them. It was like early January, and I think it's like titled Warframe in 2020 sort of thing. And they had highlighted that they were worried about games like Borderlands 3 and other looter shooters that were coming out in 2019, which
Anthem must have been one of them.
Anthem was one of them. God, what was there was a third one. I can't remember what it was, but so they were
Remnant
may have actually been Remnant, but they were worried about all these sort of like looter shooter games, and none of them have really survived at all.
No,
and they were talking. I think Path of Exile 2 has been announced.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the developers are talking about how to take the game from Path of Exile 1 to Path of Exile 2, blah, 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 blah. But one of the things that was highlighted was the fact that Warframe is now missing that content, which is the events, where it seemed to have... Some of the events used to have object permanency, where they would do a thing and then it was forever sort of like scarred in the history of Warframe, but now they're doing them so... Did we have an event last year?
I don't even know.
Was that that was Hildren, wasn't it? The exploiter stuff. The event. An event last year. We had the one that was go put the fishers, the void fishers in Orb Valis back together. That was before Exploiter came out. That was last year.
Yeah.
That was the only event we had, wasn't it?
I think that's right. Because I can't remember another one off the top of my head.
You can look it up, Loz.
I think that's the same one.
Yeah.
No, I think that's it, yeah.
Yeah, so, they were talking about, used to be Warframe would take these risks with these events, but now they don't do it anymore. And personally, I hope that they do actually start bringing the events back, Like, the events of were the things that I cared about the most.
Well, and I do think there is...
Was there one for... I remember there being clan statues for the Jupiter rework. Was there an event for that?
Was it a straight up event?
Loz?
Don't think so.
Because I remember that one, amalgam, that the statue was bigger than any part of the trophy room apart from the dead center. You remember that? I had to shrink down all of the statues.
Don't remember that.
Because I swear you got statues from... But yeah, I'm pretty sure that there was as soon as the Ropa-Dopa list came in, there was a small event where you could actually build statues if you got the resource from the Ropa-Dopa list. I think, anyway. But even so, I really wouldn't count that too much as a big event. The Void Fisher thing was more of an event. But yeah, anyway. So, here's hoping 2020 for Warframe is less worried about what other titles are coming out that year.
Yeah, just be the best Warframe you can possibly be, and Don't worry about all these other people. They definitely don't have the sauce.
Destiny 2 becoming free to play.
Comparatively.
That was the one. It wasn't Remnant.
Yeah. To be fair, Destiny is the closest I think any game has come, but
Even
the
so, it's
problem
not that
is
close.
yeah, no, because I played Destiny 2 and I don't like it in comparison, like in terms of just it controlled, felt clunky.
Yeah.
I didn't like the way ammo and the thing was. I just
Yep.
don't like Destiny. I don't care for it at all.
Cool. Right. Should we now move on to the topics?
Yes.
Loz is like, oh god.
Sorry. I'm having to explain how simple macros are to somebody who is overthinking something. And I kept saying, I'm recording a podcast, can't type this now. And then they've just done a big page. Like,
Is this on Discord?
yes.
Just block them.
No.
Okay. If you want,
Seriously.
tell me who they are, and I'll politely tell them.
No. It's I'm just.
Topic
I'm just trying to
one.
explain to someone why it's easier to have when you're doing healer assignments for your tanks and molten core. If you just had it on a macro, you just change the few who's healing this tank, who's healing that tank. Push one button, goes up onto the raid warning onto the screen. They're like, oh, but this is going to take 10 minutes. You take 5 minutes saying it onto Discord. Just push one button. We can sort it. Topic one.
For real.
Topic 1. Rerolling Wreckage stats the way we do with Rivens. Topic 2. As I scroll down. Empyrean. Not only another content island, but the most remote and isolated content island of them all. Then topic 3. Like how Plague Star gives us infested Zors, there should be an Orb Valis event that gives us sentient kit gun parts. Back to topic 1. Okay.
Yeah. I have things to say about that.
What, the third one?
Yeah.
Good man.
Well, all of them, but that one especially.
Good man. Rerolling Wreckage stats the way we do Rivens. Random stat items such as the Kuva weapons, Railjack Wreckage, and Riven mods should behave consistently to some degree. We already can, to some degree, improve Kuva weapons via valence transfer and Riven mods via rerolling. I have yet to find a Vidar-built reactor for my ship. Vidar-built? Just say Vidar reactor. I don't get to play as much as I used to. So far, it's been only Zektis. Sorry, Zekties. Zetkeys. I thought it was Zekti. Anyway, when I finally get one, from what I've heard, I'm likely to not get the exact stats I want. The ability to, say, reroll those stats with Dryak or Kuva or both or a new resource would be very useful. What say ye, gentlemen?
I really think they gotta stop leaning so hard on RNG. I know it's tough in a free-to-play game, but
Minimize this because I've had enough of that person. Sorry, I'm going to read the topic now.
you just
Keep going.
Do you want me to catch you up real quick?
I think I already know.
Super rare model of reactor. Can't guarantee the stats they're going to get. Want the ability to reroll stats. There you go. So, who shall I start the talky talk?
No, no. So obviously,
yeah.
is there anything you need to explain about the way these work for Crash and how rare they are and the things that people always going for? And...
No, believe me, I've watched hours of complaining.
Okay.
I know everything you are saying. I am up to date.
So for my benefit, because I want to make sure that I have understood this correctly, there are different models or manufacturers of the parts for a Railjack. So you can get a Zecti reactor, a Vidar reactor, or a Sigma reactor, and there was another one that begins with an L, I can't remember the name of, and they all have different quality. Sigma is the bog standard one, which you research in the clan dojo, right? Zecti is the most common of the lot. The one that begins with L is the second most common, and then Vidar is the one that everyone complains about with its, I want to say 2% drop chance? I'm not 100% sure. I think it's 2% or 0.2%.
Well,
and yeah,
I think from what I've heard, and this is from me watching at least 3 45-minute complaint videos, is that it is not necessarily that the real problem lies with the fact that the Vidar is those parts are necessary for Railjack to actually be not blindingly difficult.
I think way back when Railjack first came out, there were some valid complaints because I was getting Zecti reactors that had maybe 17 avionics points, or 19 avionics points, or 11 avionics points. There was no point in getting a reactor that was less than 40 avionics points because the Sigma one came with 30. Right. But since then, DE have changed it, making the range of possible points it can give a lot smaller, and at base a lot higher. Right. So I think like Zecti is, for example, 70 to 80. The one that begins with an L is 80 to 90, and Vidar is 90 to 100, right? So you're guaranteed to get a certain low-end value that wasn't originally there. So,
what?
Yeah.
Is this really about maxing things out? Like, people want to be able to like fully max this thing out, and then that's because what I'm trying to understand is, what is the actual desire, right? Like the reason to re-roll it is because you want better stats. But does that mean that if you have 90 instead of 100, are you significantly less powerful?
I'm not sure. People say they are.
So, God, I need to look at the patch notes. So this originally came out on January 13th, right? So according to Reddit, 12 days ago. I need to find out when it was patched that they had reduced this window. So forums, warframe.com, because that was like, that was a huge contender towards this. So I think it's important for us to fully grasp the context that they are bringing this to light in. Does that make sense?
Right.
So
yeah, like was this before that patch?
Makes sense. So going to,
if it was, then I think I understand, because it sounds like the numbers were real wonky.
Okay. So Avara Prime. Let's go Vidar. Yep. Back. Not that post. Is it this one? Right, so this was posted January 16th. So yes, this person's post was before DE's changes. Yeah. So I've Laven. That's the name of the other one. So for example, oh wow, I was actually spot on with the numbers. So a Zecti Reactor Mark III avionics capacity is 70 to 80 from 10 to 50. A Laven's reactor is Mark III is 80 to 90 from 20 to 70. And Vidar's Mark III reactor is 90 to 100 from 30 to 100, right? So they've massively refined the scope of these things. So I'm not saying that this person's post is irrelevant. I think there is still some relevancy to this because those were the reactors. This wasn't just the other elements of the wreckage, like weapons and so on and so forth. I mean, I know I've had shields and stuff that haven't been that great. So do you think it is important to have the ability to re-roll RNG stuff for Railjack? Or do you think it should stay as it is and the only way to get better stuff is to find it on the floor? Right? And I would like your reasoning as to why. If you want, I'm happy to go first.
So the options are find things on the floor, or
you're able to re-roll the stats, like what you can do with ribbons.
So how it is now for the drops, or do you want re-roll? Is basically what you're asking.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is the question of the whole topic, I do believe.
No, but the context of the topic was prior the changes to the reactors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fundamentally, it's hard to say because I think I do approve in some ways. I would approve of the system we have now with drops because it's kind of a tiered system, and I know Warframe doesn't exclusively run on. In fact, most of the core fundamental game doesn't run on a tiered game system where you replace the old with a new high level thing. But then most games do, and it enables them to go pretty far. I mean, everyone loves getting new stuff, replacing the stuff. The problem is we've got tier 1 to 3 here, and tier 1 and 2 you just ignore to build tier 3, which is a complete waste of face. It's just such a stupid thing to do that I don't know what they were thinking about it. They really should have either tiered our progression through the solar system based on time, so everyone had to play on Earth for like a couple of weeks before we unlock the next one, so people would have the tier 1s, or they should have made it that you have to have tier 1 stuff to go to the next area kind of thing, so you would invest in building it. Instead, they've gone for this weird thing where people just rush through it and then complaining about stuff because they're all going for tier 3 instead of working their way through tiers, which is how it should be if you're going to use tier content. The reason why I like tiers is because then they can go, hey, all the time you're spending on tier 3, tier 4. And that's kind of cool because it means that they can learn from how tier 3 went and then adapt and change tier 4. Maybe instead of maybe you get a reactor or a piece. Maybe you get a piece from a company and you can turn it either into a Vidar reactor or a Vidar gun of your choice. You get to. This is what World of Warcraft did. Eventually, the first tier, the first expansion they did, a drop happened and it was like, this is a warrior piece, this is a mage piece. Later on, they put out pieces where it's like, this piece can be turned in for a rogue, mage, or druid piece of gear. So it enabled more options from the RNG. It wasn't as punishing. You could work with what you needed to work towards based on the drops. So that's, if they do the tier system, that could be kind of cool. If they're not going to do a tiered system and progress through tier 4, tier 5, tier 6, which I think would be good because it can kind of draw a line under content. This is the tier 3 content we got it now. They're learning everything they can about Railjack, and then they can implement it, take those ideas, put it onto tier 4, tier 5, and improve it. So people go, wow, this is amazing. And you feel like the rewards you're getting are good, and the content you're doing requires those rewards, and you feel the challenge for it. Like, that'd be really good. And then they can do it again for tier 5. And in theory, they can just keep going forever because that's what World of Warcraft does. But if they're not going to do that kind of thing, then just scrap it all, go for ribbons, go for some system where you can improve the drops you get, I think would be better.
Yeah.
Done.
I agree.
Yeah.
The only thing I would add, the only thing I think I have to add to that is that I don't care about ribbons.
Oh, in general, no, I'm same. I don't really care about ribbons, but I can understand how they work and what
I don't
in the game.
Yeah, I don't mind it, but I just, because I'm trying to apply that in terms of like having been a partner and like kind of not needing to put in the same work a lot in terms of like having the content, just kind of like, like it's handed to you for the sake of your content. But I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of somebody who would need to do that, and I'm just like, it's nice that it's there, but again, because it's similar to ribbons, I don't know that I would care. And I don't know if that's on me or on the design. So
to be honest, I'm the same with you and Ravens. I don't actually get that enthused by them because you can just buy the best one or whatever. And if Warframe did, I was really hoping when I started seeing this tier system, it'd be kind of cool because you can work within your tier of your content. You don't have to worry about rushing to the end, and you could go, well, I'm on tier 1, I'm working on my tier 2s at the moment. People might be on tier 3, that's fine. I'm in my content playing it. But instead, because the way they've got it, people just rush to tier 3, and then everyone expects everyone to have tier 3 to do all the content, and it's just like, what was the point? What was the point?
Honestly? So at that point, you're World of Warcraft.
No, but at least with World of Warcraft, like you use the tier 1s to get the tier 1s, to get the tier 2s, to use the tier 2s. You know, you felt safe within your rung of the ladder. Whereas they completely butchered the bottom 2 steps. The bottom 2 steps of the ladder are this close, and then the third step is up here. So people just leap up to the third tier. If you don't have that, you're like, what was the point of these broken steps?
Yeah, no, I agree. But I'd say that's WoW is a lot like that these days, where like with gear score and you're like, your eye level has to be, this, or we're not going to let you into mythics or something. And it's like, well.
So my question to you guys is, if say DE brought in Jupiter as the next zone of Railjack, and you could get tier 4 stuff, so Zekti, Laven, and Vidar tier 4 anything, right? Mark 4, whatever. Do you think it should be that you have to have a Mark 3 of the same item to make the Mark 4?
I would like that kind of sort of system, or something along that lines. I would like it.
Before you continue further, my question to you then is, I assume with Mark 5, you would have to have Mark 4. Mark 6, you would have to have Mark 5. Mark 7...
you can actually change it up based on the content. Like some tiers might require that, some tiers might not, based on how much grind. Like some tiers might be a very grindy tier where it's sort of space battle stuff. You might have a tier which is a lot smaller than the other tiers, so it's but very hard, like a lot of boss battles or spaceship battles. Let's say the tier 5 is spaceship battling. You're battling Grineer galleons and Corpus ships and the Fomorians. So it's not grindy, but you've got really hard content that maybe you can only do once a week. So that just straight up drops the tier 5, but then it goes back again to get the tier 6s. Maybe you have to do something with the tier 5s, or maybe you have to break down all the different tiers to build stuff for the tier 6s. You can shape it up, but you've got to have meaning in tiers. That's what it doesn't have. Tier 1, I started playing and I started building my tier 1s, and then I instantly started hearing about people. It's like, oh no, just don't build those. And I'm like, I was really happy that I got this drop. No, the tier 2 is just completely makes this completely redundant. The tier 3 makes it better. I was like, but I wanted to try out these different guns on my tier 1. Like, no, just don't even build them. Just waste of resources, waste of space, waste of junk, waste of everything. But I was like, but I wanted to.
The fact that it's a waste of resources is the scary thing.
Yeah, complete waste of resources. Like, it's night and day how much of an increase the different guns give as they go up in tiers, to the point that the low ones don't even have a point, don't have a purpose.
Well, and that's the thing is, doesn't Warframe kind of has this? There are lots of items that I would consider vestigial organs, more or less, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of like, they're there. It's kind of hard to get rid of them, but if you do, is it really all that bad?
But it's really bad to see them basically release these. They just built some vestigial organs and chucked them at us, and it's like, what do you want me to do with these? They came out the box vestigially pointless and redundant.
My question to you is, how would you feel? Say that the content that they have to do with these tiered guns is a separate conversation entirely. Components. Let's just focus on the tiering system of the components. How would you feel of a, let's call it Sigma organ, right? That you can build for various different resources to make, let's say, the previous tier of component. So the whole point is, right, what if you start playing when Mark 6 stuff is out? You'd have to get Mark 3s, 4s, 5s before you can get Mark 6s. So my proposition...
That's why you add in catch-up mechanics.
So my proposition is this extra thing that allows you to go straight to building Mark 5 stuff, and then you can build the Mark 6 stuff.
Yeah, so what you do is while Mark 5 is the top tier content, you make it quite hard to do. But then when you're onto the Mark 6 content, what happens is you add in catch-up mechanics to move you onto the tier 4 or 5 stuff very easily, and then you can then use that onto the tier 6. That's what you want to do. And then when tier 7 comes out, you make it easier to get the tier 6 content. That's what you're supposed to do. That's in a tiered system. But you don't do a tiered system where you make tier 1 and 2 completely pointless because tier 3 is just there and that's it.
Okay.
I honestly don't think we're going to see a tier 4. I just think that's it. I'm partly worried that they're just going to... That's it. This is it for Railjack. That's my worry. I really am quite worried about this.
And this is what I was thinking before I got here. I was like, what do I think of Railjack? Because I know we're going to talk about Railjack. And I was like, I really hope it doesn't become Arcwing.
Well, I mean, that's something I've been saying for months as well. I think the biggest problem is that this is not the minimum viable product. This is just the minimum product, right? Yeah. People are highlighting that this flashlight doesn't have an on-off switch. Right? They're highlighting that there's no way to swap the batteries. They're highlighting that there's no way to focus the light. There are so many elements to Railjack that are just not there, and they should be there. I mean, hell, I'm starting to wonder if the reason why the engineering system was removed was not because they didn't think it would be interesting. It's just the fact that we need to ship this, so they took it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I think the best criticism video I have seen is, strangely, Shy's, because she goes through each of the promises. I don't know if I call them promises, but like features that were shown to us and all these things, and kind of goes like, well, here's how that's not there, right? And so a lot of it might be that. And I think it's tongue-in-cheek because it's Shy, right? It's very on brand for her. But the thing about it is, it's like, I think a lot of the things that are going to make this a really awesome system are they're not things that come on the first ship. And I I had the inkling that that's what was going to happen. And it seems like, I've been dadding quite a lot, so a little distracted. But generally, it seems like that's kind of what's happened. Is that what's come out is just like Railjack, and is just as pared down as it can be to still be called a system. And there's kind of going to be this stuff that gets put on, and the thing that people, and they're right to make this criticism. I still think it's jumping the gun a little bit, but they're right to make it, is to say like, yeah, but what if that never comes? And I'm like, and that's true because it's not there. It is reasonable for us to be like, yeah, but what if they just pivot suddenly? Because they just don't want to go in that direction, right? So there's the ruins of another castle or another loose end. And I'm like, that's fair. I think that's fair. That's a fair criticism, is that a lot of the things that Railjack was going to tie together, it's not really doing that yet. It seems like it's kind of it's in Arcwing territory, and let's not do that.
I think the thing that gets me is my understanding, the reason why Arcwing never really got fully developed is because everyone whinged about it. But everyone whinged about it because it was not fully developed. And so they've kicked Imperium out the door, not fully developed, and everyone's whinging about it. And if they give up on it, I'm just going to be like, what did you expect? Everyone to go like, oh my god, this buggy thing is amazing.
I think there's more to it than that. I think a large part of the problem for Arcwing was that there was no consistency in what people wanted, right? Like people saying, I want 6 degrees of freedom. I want a better map system. Like there wasn't a consensus across the board of what any particular group wanted.
Well, no, I don't accept that because they never really tried. They never really tried.
No, they could have tried harder. right?
They could have tried.
I'm not gonna.
But they didn't.
I want them
They
to
did not
improve.
try.
I want them to improve Arcwing. You know, I want them to improve Arcwing.
But we all want them to improve
Right.
Arcwing. But I
I
don't want to accept that as an argument because it's like everyone said all these things. They never really tried. They never added new tile sets. They never added new missions. They never added new enemies. They never added. The only new mission types they added was 3 new mission types. No, 4 mission types. I guess they added. They added defense, which is a complete mess. They added the.
To be fair, it's Railjack is kind of what they should have done, really, in terms of Arcwing. Because if you're gonna go into space, freaking go into space. You know, and the reason why is because think about all the different considerations, the control and interface considerations that you have with Arcwing. They all apply, just in terms of like it's just a much larger scale now that you actually have a ship. And I mean, I imagine this is where they were always trying to go. But, you know, I think of it like if Railjack, if they can really get the core gameplay of Railjack in this really fun place, that can then trickle down to Arcwing, because a lot of the different things about it will, I think, translate, especially in terms of like how it controls, how you interact with space.
The tricky thing is, I'd agree with that, but they gave 6 degrees of freedom to the Railjack, and they stripped it from the Arcwing when they released Railjack.
That was just wrong.
I want to bring this up because I just remembered this. So we're talking about how, like, you know, developers interacting with whinging, right, in differing ways. There, some of the people I watch, Taliesin and Evotel, for WoW stuff, and part of their show is that there's the running joke with the like, and one of the places where there was great and wonderful discussion was the forums, you know, right? And the joke is always that, like, no, it was a crap show, right? And so the idea being that, like, everyone will always complain about everything, and so I feel like I'm probably lighter than people would want me to be on DE, because how do you really, like, everyone's always going to complain. So how do you really determine that, like, people are really mad about this one? You know, like, are they mad because a bunch of content creators decide they want to make videos? Right? Like, do you decide is it because people stop playing it? Right? Like, what is the metric they really use to determine that, like, this is whinging that we should listen to and this is whinging we shouldn't? Because there will always be the whinging. It's going to be there, but how do they gauge it? I think that's really difficult.
I think realistically, you have to take what content creators say just out of the equation. I think that realistically, the content creators are here to spur on what they should be here to spur on independent thought of what a fan of the game should think. You know, if what you're listening to here goes, hey, you know, I like what they're saying, I agree with them, cool. If you're thinking, oh god, these guys haven't got a fucking clue what they're talking about, you know, just give us Mark III stuff and just fuck the rest of it, again, that instills people to have their own opinions of it, and then those opinions should shape what the forums look like and thus what the community wants from the game. Part of the problem that I find with the way this all works out is that DE will on occasion listen too closely to what the content creators say and not listen to what the community says. And like one thing that really shocked me was, do you remember what comment it was that Steve said, I've not heard of this? It was something to, I swear it was something to do with the Kuvaliches. Everyone kept on bringing up this one aspect of the Kuvaliches. Not one person liked this one. Oh, it was the death thing, Loz. You know, what you call it?
The fact that they killed you.
Yes. Yeah, everyone dislikes that. And Steve turned around and said, like, I've never heard anyone say this. I'm like, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, sometimes I feel that because content creators are, you know, getting on their soapboxes about certain things, that element is ignored. in both the content creators and the community.
Mm.
You know, so I think though that it speaks volumes that as we are concerned of Railjack getting ditched like Arcwing, that hopefully the majority of the community are concerned that Railjack will get ditched like Arcwing, and that concern should hopefully resonate to DE to keep working on Railjack because we care. That makes sense?
And I hope that they maintain that what's Steve's opening thing, right, from last TennoCon, from the reveal, right, where he talks about like let's not bring you to Loot Island and then abandon you, and then you burn out and whatever.
Yeah.
I hope I hope the whole team maintains like this idea, like, yeah, that's the thing we don't want to do again. And as long as they keep that in mind, I think they're gonna see it through with Railjack, because it, at least to me, intuitively, like I see this having the possibility of giving the game what it needs to go one step beyond like mission ship.
Yeah.
Other mission ship. Slightly different color of mission, but same thing, ship.
Yeah. Cool. Should we go to the replies, or do we have anything else we want to round this up with?
No. Replies. Could be a nice idea. We could use. Oh, we're talking about reroll. Oh, God, we're still talking about this, aren't we? God. Are we topic 1 or topic 2?
1.
Just read the title for topic 2. I'm like, discuss that. Anyway, could be a nice idea. We could use Dirax, or the end of space, to reroll, since after having a full grid in avionics, it becomes useless. Fair? In a manner, the only thing that could be feasibly maybe make use of the system like that are hilariously reactors. For everything else, the wreckage drops from mobs instead of mission awards, so you don't have the volume to get the great roll rolls. Specifically Vidar reactors, though you don't. Unsurprisingly, it's the only item that is called by name when this complaint appears. Great roll. Let's say great roll rolls. Right,
I'm not
actually.
I think this is just saying like the only problem really with the whole drop system is the Vidar reactors. I think that is what that comment is trying to say.
Right.
Because they seem like they are the baseline, and not like the top is actually the baseline.
Yeah.
And whereas actually, it's funny. They should learn from D should take lessons from Magic the Gathering. Because think about it. Rare cards are nice, but there are common cards that are so good.
Yeah.
With 4 of them in your deck.
Yeah.
Well, that was part of the reason why they upped the avionics capacity on all 3 brands, and limited the window so it wasn't insane.
Yeah. Actually gives us a good use for excess Dirac and has precedent with other mechanics of the game. I like it. It also alleviates the awful fun-killing RNG for worthwhile loot. It's a bit of a band-aid solution, but it gives us more agency. I'd rather there be flat, uniform stats that aren't rolled at all. I'm
like, the problem is then you just get the one thing that you want, and then you don't have to ever play that game again.
Yeah,
no,
so the trade-off with that is you will just get a thing that has flat uniform stats, but you reduce the chance of it dropping by 20%. So everything is very, very rare. So you have to do a very, very rare drop. But once you get that very, very rare drop, that's it. But most of the time you're sitting there with nothing. But the thing with RNG is you'll get more, but sometimes they won't be good. So it's a trade-off.
But it's like,
sometimes you can make use of those not very good ones.
Was it like
say they've made it less
Destiny, where you know every gun you pick up is better than the last gun you had, or
pretty much until you reach the cap.
Fair enough. But then there's
cap, and then
there's like Diablo 3, where nearly every single thing, sorry, hiccups, every single thing that drops on the floor is just pure garbage. Right? So
last supply.
yeah.
Let's have last supply. I would much rather have an upgrade system that allows us to grind for a perfect roll, even if it costed a lot. That consistency is worth it. And I think that's the reason why I read that one out is because that was like your grind for your flail of ridiculousness in Diablo 3. You had to just wait on a 1 in a bajillion drop, which was ridiculous. Where you much preferred a system where you could have worked towards that dropping.
I will point out that I can hear my son giving my wife a bit of a hard time. So, if we can try and hurry up a bit.
Sure.
Well, okay. Topic 2, Xeno.
Yep. Topic 2.
I think we're going to breeze through this one because I think we've done this. So just
pretty much.
It,
Empyrean, not only another content island, but the most remote and isolated content island of them all. Not only is Empyrean yet another content island, really, do you have to repeat the title? Instead of the connective tissue, it was promised to be, but in fact the most isolated content island in the game. In the Plains and or Fortuna, the game, the things you accumulated are useful everywhere else in the game. The arcanes you get, the Zors, kit guns, mowers, although mowers need a serious buff, you build, and the moats you assemble are all relevant to the rest of the general Warframe content. With Empyrean, the only things even remotely like this is 2 weapon blueprint drops, a quest weapon blueprint, and 1 in a billion chance ephemera. Ephemeras are not fucking everything.
They have quite good drop chances.
Everything else in Empyrean is for Empyrean and nothing else. You could skip it entirely and it would barely make a difference in how you play the rest of the game, aside from 3 mediocre weapons. Empyrean is just a bigger budget, Happy Zephyr Wormius, Frame Fighter, Shoswin, a glorified side game. I don't mind them existing at all, but they're a problem when it is what DE spends most of the time on.
Now, I was being critical earlier, but I find that rather rude to reduce these to basically fun mini games. There's a lot of development has gone into Railjack, an insane amount. They're making game systems that
I just want to say one thing.
What?
Have they never done Arcwing? Because Arcwing's exactly the same. The only stuff you can get from Arcwing is for Arcwing.
Yeah.
You know,
Tellurium is what it is, right?
No. The mods. The weapons.
You can only get Tellurium elsewhere.
Yeah, Tellurium you can get from Uranus, but that's it.
But that is part of the problem with Arcwing is that it's like that's why I stopped playing Arcwing. Is there was nothing to get. I had everything that I got from it, and then they never added anything more to it. So it is a problem with Imperium that they could add cosmetics for your ship. They could add in color palettes. Cosmetics. I don't get why this game is all about cosmetics, and they could easily add cosmetic blueprints, cosmetic drops in Imperium. You can go get them. Like, for instance, there should be, in my opinion, a quest line or a long grind in Imperium to go. I know you can buy 2 ships lines, apart from the basic one, but there should be 1 to grind, 1 from play. That would give people things to do, and people would love that.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think this poster would like that, because from the sounds of it, this poster wants the power fantasy that they have built up with their Warframes and things, and they want to be able to easily take it to Empyrean, but you can't. This is supposed to be a spaceship. This is something that's disconnected from yourself, right? Unless you're going into a Grineer galleon or whatever, then yeah.
But then maybe that's part of what's wrong with Empyrean, is that they haven't really fleshed out that when you're on an opponent ship section yet, so that they can feel like they're making use from that ability. Like, there's the whole thing to do with you can use your allies' Warframe abilities. Why do I even need to consider that? They need to really push that on the enemy ship section so that you feel isolated without the support of your teammates. But who knows? Like, why don't they make it so that if the allies outside the ship don't do something, then the people on the ship get radiation hazards in the area they are, and they can't stay there for very long, and they get forced out of the objective room they're trying to work on. You know, there's so much more they can do.
I think so. This post here is harsh criticism for something that is not yet finished, right?
Sure.
And it's like, yeah, okay, we're criticizing stuff with Empyrean as well. Yeah, the irony is not lost in us, but we want Empyrean to be its own thing. From the sounds of it, this person just wants Empyrean gone, so DE will focus on the generic gameplay, which we've done. We have finished the generic gameplay. Bring on the freaking spaceships.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well,
sadly, sorry, you go, Crash.
the spaceship thing is like an obvious extension of kind of what Warframe is generally. Like this extends the I don't know, the world of it to finally we see what's, I don't know, in between the planets. Kind of, well, I mean, we really don't, but I think that's exactly it. But what I was thinking is while you were explaining, Xeno, is I feel like from DE's point of view, what there's like, okay, do we want people to whinge endlessly about a content drought, or do we want them to whinge endlessly about a viable product?
Yeah.
And I feel like they chose let's do the viable product because we've been burned on the content drought before.
Yeah.
And so I think in their minds they're like, look, this isn't done. We know it's not done. But we've got something we can sell here, and so let's lean on that while we're getting these other things in.
Yeah.
And as long as those other things get in, I think folks like that will rethink, because again, all it is tie it back in with the rest of the game. Show how this is step 3, right? Because right now it feels like this is step 2.5. It's off to the side. You don't actually have to go do that, right? But if they can actually make it step 3 in the game, then done. Job done. And I think those kinds of people are going to kind of be like, okay, all right, they actually said it wasn't done and they're doing more, so let's, yeah.
But the baby or a cat?
That's a baby.
That's Lord MDRLOz. Respect Lord Omnis.
It is.
Right.
Should we move on to replies?
Yep.
I liked Railjack for its own sake, but the aggression while I was playing was so insanely slow, I never felt invested in it. And what's the point of repairing horrible drops or investing in something you don't even have basic mods for? Instead of jumping on other people's ships, and the complete lack of mission variety meant I lost the desire to play more by the time I finished the nodes. I'm glad they're improving it, but until they add some new form of mission, I doubt I'll go back. I'd like to see it play a role in some of the new war nodes, but I don't want it in any of them if it's going to be hackneyed, or as unpleasant to navigate as the Arcwing sections of Uranus mission. Again, it's unfinished. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, but and not altogether undeserved. But my whole thing is back to it's like, I think it's coming. And if it doesn't come, I'm glad to eat those words. But it's obvious to me that, yeah, like I think they would rather it be out and people be able to familiarize, and then have cool stuff added. It's not even cool stuff because that makes it sound like it's an addition. There's more core parts of it, but the thing that loops it back around into the rest of the game is coming, because that's the hard part. Remember, the rest of the game is awesome.
I think there's also
back around into that. It's be really good.
I think there's also some value in the fact that they released it now. Also means that if it prevents scope creep. Right? They can't keep adding stuff to something that's out. If, it can't delay it. It's out. They can add on to making things better, like changing the avionics capacities, blah, 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 but it's out, right? it's not, nothing's holding them back. So there is that. I mean, yeah, Steve did apologize for it coming out in the condition that it did, but I don't think they apologized for the fact that they released it.
Next reply, missing something there. All the level 8 intrinsic ranks are available at the moment, affect Arcwings everywhere. The open world, Arcwing missions, etc. As another note, they are still planning for more integration and expansion of Railjack. Right, so by doing your intrinsics, you affect your Arcwings in the rest of the game throughout. So that's really good, that is. They've really missed that one. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just in Railjack missions. That is a nice thing to upgrade. There we go. Pretty good.
Yeah.
New War is quickly shaping up to be the make it or break it update of Warframe, unfortunately. Oh my god, no.
No, it's
Go
not.
away. If Imperium wasn't that already, if New War bombs or even doesn't go as well as people are hoping, then there's going to be some serious issues for DE.
No, there isn't.
There isn't.
That's
Really
just
doesn't have to do much.
like...
It has to have some cool cinematics. It has to push the plot forward a bit and be a bit like, ooh, and that's all it needs to do.
Yeah.
That's all the other ones have done, really.
Yeah.
For some reason, I've started to think about Lunaro every time I see any rant about Railjack.
You can't make that comparison. Right? I feel it's unfair to make that comparison because Lunaro suffered from other the foundation flaws because of the PvP nature. Like, the networking code is not built for PvP combat, right?
It just isn't.
Yeah.
So you can't make that comparison. I'm sorry. Arcwing, sure, not Lunaro.
Yeah.
Last reply is, if this is disappointing to you, just imagine how disappointed some of us were when Warframe stopped being a stealth tactical shooter and became a press 4 frame.
That was fucking years ago.
I think it pretty much always was. In fact,
if you are not challenging yourself in any way, of course it sounds like it's a press 4 to win. But and the other thing too is, have you been playing 600 hours in the past 3 weeks? Yeah, of course, press 4 to win for you because you play all the time.
No, Loz. Loz is perfectly right. Like, Nova was the first frame that came out after we joined. Molecular Prime, 4 to win.
Yeah.
2013. You know, he's always been that.
And then
absolutely true back then.
Yeah, and it wasn't until months, I think maybe even a year later, that they started adding things like, if you remember back then, once the enemy saw you, they triggered the alarm. You couldn't turn the alarm off again. That stealth elements came later. So the game, it was very raw for the stealth. So it's like, it's terrible. Yeah.
Stealth is much more fleshed out now than it was back.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So, to round off the Imperium, I think we're all hoping that there's just more coming.
Yeah.
I think that's all we can say. Yeah. Right. Should we move on to the memes?
Yeah. So, just for everyone else's benefit, we have stopped one topic short. Lord Omnis needs his papa. So, we've already, we're not too far off the 2-hour mark. So, we're going to save one topic for next week. So, sorry, everyone, but they had 2 hours anyway. It's fine.
You had your good content time.
You were all effectively experiencing what it is like to be a parent
of Lord Omnis.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's breeze through these memes then.
No, we can't breeze. We have to savor.
We just gotta go, man.
I know. Right.
Lord Omnis are waiting, man.
Okay. Number one.
The rule of Lord Omnis, man.
Stop wasting time. You already did this one.
Go.
No, I didn't.
Did you update? Oh, shit. Bear with me.
I have
No.
updated the...
When did you update them?
Your Dropbox. Earlier today?
How earlier?
Before I sent you a thing. Why are they... Yeah, they've updated.
Oh, hold on. Because I paused it because I need to upload something to Michelle. Waiting for it to sync. Waiting. It's syncing. This is why we can't have nice things.
It's syncing. It's syncing.
It's Titanic. What? This is why we can't have nice things, Loz.
You can't have it.
Oh my god, how slow is this? Sync faster, goddammit! Ooh. 10 files. How many did you do?
6. Like I always do. No bonus meme.
I think this is like 6 with 4 bonus meme.
Is it perchance 4 other files you're getting from someone else that are completely destroying the connection? Does it give you a time to finish?
Oh god, no. Right, okay, I think it's done. Paused. Pausing. Pause. Pausing. There we go. Right. Cool. Now, let's do this thing. Right, so number 1. Go on.
D wanting to increase enemy difficulty?
Yeah, do it.
Good. Okay, so the first one is from Spider-Man Far From Home. Do you want to increase enemy difficulty if you saw the last stream? You know what? Double the damage. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, because that is actually a thing he says, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. Right, moving on to number 2. I'm very excited now. Digital Extremes,
right now.
new weapons, people who want more things to do. I'm going to just chuck down some more weapons on this bad boy. It's just like, yeah. Because they're playing a card game, and he's going to win the card game by giving people more weapons. Because that's how you give people more things to do, right? You just give them more weapons.
You know, I think we should get Uno on Steam and make some people upset.
Yeah. There was actually several other Uno memes, and I avoided them. Anyway, number 3. Me when I have to run back for that little shit again. Sentinel dying. Oh dear, gorgeous. Kavat dying. You fucking dog.
Pretty true.
There we go.
That's awesome.
So true. Moving on to meme number 4. Every time. Me. Okay, for sure. I definitely got the right pattern for the Kuvelich this time. My Warframe after failing the Kuvelich puzzle for the 7th time. Just dead. Again. Still. Like,
I'm
definitely got it right this time. Nope.
I'm kind of interested how it's only rank 2 on the 7th time.
I think that's just what overlay they had. And it's
Yeah. No, it's just funny. Also, I like the fact that it's... I don't know when that is. Is that 2nd season?
I don't know. It's My Hero Academia with blowing his limbs up and everything like he normally does. Right, number 5. Well, which is it? Zekti Science was the best in the system. Digital Extremes. Also, DE. Zekti engines were solid performers in all categories, but stood out in none. Like,
what?
Which ones are they?
Also, what is that anime subtitles from?
I don't know. I want to know. I don't know if I think they've added in the word Zekti, so it's something science. And if somebody could let me know, because I want to know. I don't know why. I just feel the need to watch the anime, and I want to know. So if anyone knows what that's from, please let me know. It doesn't say. Nope, it doesn't actually say.
Zekti engines were solid performers in all categories.
Oh, that's from in-game. That's from actually what it says in-game.
Yeah, but it's just like... Yeah, so they're just basic, generic... They're you know... Oh, God, what's the Jack of all trades, Master of none?
Master of none.
Yeah. So okay.
And then, finally, the
Number
6th
6.
meme, which is very apt for what we've been talking about today with Imperium. Content nowadays be like DevStream TennoCon versus... the released content. There were meaner memes, I want to point out.
Wow.
I just thought this one was funny. There were some very mean and angry memes. I was just going for this one because I thought, that's fair.
Wow.
But they're always, it's a bit of truth in it though, because they're always going to, the TennoCon ones, they're always going to make it a little bit better before they release it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right, let us move on to the 6. I see the word pixel. Let us move on.
Oh, God damn it, Loz. You're not meant to read.
Oh, damn it.
Loz, why'd you ruin that?
Loz, why you ruin things?
Why you ruin things, Loz?
I have the jet, actually. Unfortunately.
You have the jet?
He has to go.
I have to go.
Oh, you have to jet.
Yeah,
okay, you go.
He is, I can hear him. He's being more and more difficult.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much, Crash. And we'll see you again soon.
Yep. Thanks for having me on. I'll talk to you guys.
Boy. So let me just the cameras off. Cool. Right.
Right.
Community shoutouts. It's just us now.
Let's go.
Feel like I failed him. Right.
Back to back.
Oh, shoot.
I made a back-to-back
Hold on.
version of Assassin's Illustration 2. I've never played Warframe, but those character designs are out of control. Damn, that's pretty good.
There we go. Yeah. So yeah, love that one. So back to back by Jake Myler.
Not to be mean, I think the art is amazing, and the lighting I just noticed especially is amazing. Just my one complaint is the grip the Oberon has on the gun grip of the Archiplasma. Is that right?
Uh,
Has it really got like a 40 grip with a bit at the back? It might do, I don't know.
I can't
Looks a bit
really
off.
see from here.
Yeah, but it's odd that my eyes got drawn to that, but like the rest of it is amazing. I love the lighting on the side of the Oberon. It just looks amazing. Right, next one.
Number 2, which is Do You Feel Better by Frevelisk.
Children want to be loved. Children want their mother to be happy. See her smile. They also want their dad sometimes. Sleep deeply, little one. In dreams of peace, be happy in our last embrace. Yes, my child. We are both mangled now. Dang,
It's awesome.
that dark.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Beautiful. It's also dark. I mean, it's dark, man.
So dark. Right.
That's pretty dark. That's pretty deep. I mean, it's just yeah.
Yep. The third community shout out is Pink Wisp by Afterburner.
I'm very Persona Inspire, also very Pink Wisp. I made this going speed over quality, but it came out really well in the end. The flatter shading actually looks good, not gonna lie. Plus, I never drew Wisp, so here you go. Wow. That to me looks like, this may sound a bit mean, but it is actually very praising of the image. Do you know, like sometimes anime does like cheap CG, sort of weird moving CG? I could totally see that as like, it looks almost like a CG animated thing.
Yeah.
Really good,
Yeah.
Yep.
Looks awesome.
Yeah.
The fourth community shout out is Limbo and Era by Iron Beast, which I just genuinely think's it's just phenomenal.
Oh yeah. The piece looks amazing at the Limbo. I don't get the bottom right. Is that a frame?
No, that's Era. Lotus's brother. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you still not done the...
Nope.
Oh, okay. The Diddy Quest.
Yeah, Diddy Quest.
Diddy Quest.
Right. Number 5.
Number 5, he just wants to get to number 6. Number 5 is Dynasty Frames by Plickit Plickit.
Oh, nice. Get some Chinese New Year stuff.
Yeah. Did you see the Year of the Rat?
Cut off the...
Huh?
The Year of the Rat?
Glyph that he put in Warframe.
Oh, no.
It looks awesome. It looks absolutely amazing.
Wow. Oh, I thought that Wukong had cut the top knot off of Nezha. But it's not. It's Ordis with a thing. That's cool.
Do you remember the one which was the hair and Ordis had hair?
Yes.
Same artist.
Ah.
Right. And then this one.
I assume that's their operator or what it's supposed to be, but
Yeah. Right. And then number 6, Warframe Pixel Art by Gingy K. Fox.
I've been imagining how cool it would be to play Warframe had a 2D platform. I made a few contents, but thought I should share it once. It's different, but I was like, as I scroll down and I look at the 8-bit Warframe server.
Yeah.
Is it called Lost Sector?
Yeah.
Remember Lost Sector?
Yeah.
I remember Lost Sector.
Yeah.
I honestly don't get why they don't make a side-scrolling app game for Warframe. Just get why not just on the side?
Because they'd have to have a dedicated team to do it, and they'd rather spend the dev resource building Warframe.
If I had the know-how and skills, I'd do it in my lunch break.
You would not be able to do it in your lunch break.
You could make something small in your lunch break. You could be working towards it. Man.
Okay, you could totally be working towards something.
That's how they ended up with things like Frame Fighter, you know. It was like one person making it originally, as I recall.
Really?
Yeah, it started out something like that. It was just like kind of a small thing, and then they just kind of just went with it.
Yeah, but most of the resources were already in the game.
Yeah, I know, but okay, but
anyway,
the thing is, most of the pixel art, actually, the Lost Sector people, they had most of the artwork done. It was they didn't need artwork doing; they just needed people to put it all together,
right?
Build the game. But
anywho, so that's it for the community shoutouts. Good sir.
Still lovely pixel art. Sorry, lovely pixel art. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry, I'm just sighing because I would love a game like that.
Yeah. Play Dead. Oh, maybe we could get like some Warframe art for Dead Cells.
Oh god, I'd love a Warframe mod for Dead Cells. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yep.
Right.
He's
Quote?
inspired now. Quote time.
Where's my quote gone? Why have I closed my folder? Where's my folder? Ba, 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 ba. That's not where I keep my files. There. Balance. Long ago, before the Orokin established this great empire of ours. Sorry, let me change that word. I realized I haven't changed the word. Let me change it again. The word. Balance. Long ago, before the Orokin established this great empire of ours, that word, was all but meaningless. An idea as elusive as a dream. But now, 10,000 years later, we are all of us, living proof that balance is indeed attainable. The reason for this is, of course, our focus system. Madurai, Vazarin, Naramon, Unaru, Zeneric. In dividing disciples according to the personality and aptitude, we've created an order in which each focus school plays a critical role in maintaining the order. But this harmony we achieved is now under attack from a small but extremely dangerous group of individuals. We call them Tenno. They are, in essence, the worst of what the Orokin used to be. Rebellious, defiant, and uncontrollable.
Fucking hell. Do you know if I've seen this?
Probably not. I have only seen this series of films, which I don't think they finished, because Rich watched like 2 of them or something, and was like, hey, you should watch these films. When I came home one time, and I was like, okay. And I was like, oh, that's all right. 2015.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Is this like the... Oh, God. Divergence?
That's one of them. Not this one.
Yeah, I think I start... Was that the first... Was Divergence the first one?
I think Divergence the first one. I don't think they finished this series of films.
No, I think they did finish it.
Did they?
Yeah, I think they did eventually. I started watching the first one. I got a few minutes.
Okay.
And I got
the first
bored.
One's all right. Oh, it's all right actually. Yeah, you should have.
Well, it just felt too much like Hunger Games to me.
Cancelled 4th film, cancelled TV series.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's based, when that was the thing. I think it was after like Hunger Games, it was like everyone was scrabbling to get their own young adult film.
Yeah.
The first film did okay. And we also had, what was the other one we had, which did finish?
Maze Runner?
Maze Runner. That actually finished all right, actually. Apart from, my problem with the ending.
Never watched it.
Second film did... What's just... That's weird.
So which one of these films was it then?
Well, you got it. First one was called
Divergence. I don't know what the others were called. Insurgents.
Insurgent.
Oh my god! Okay.
Third one was called Allegiant. There.
Allegory.
Allegiant. Alley Giant.
Are you sure it's not detergent?
Detergent. Yeah.
So I don't know which film it would be from. So I would have thought the first film, but maybe not.
Weird. I don't get why they fit. They just
no interest.
No, the first 2 films did very well. Third film did pretty bad, but not like it wasn't a bomb, or didn't look like a bomb, and then they just gave up. I mean, oh no, the third film didn't do very well. Then it was like half of the content they were supposed to be doing, whereas the first 2 films did very well. Oh well, but there you go.
So which one of the 3 films was it?
Oh, Insurgent, I told you.
Oh, second one. Okay, fine.
Second one, yeah. 2015.
Right, so that's it for this week's 10 o'clock. Unfortunately, cut short. poor Lord Omnis needs his nap time. And yeah, we'll leave it here this week, and we'll pick it up again next week.
Yep.
Just Loz and I next week. So cool. Right. Where's the button, Loz? Where's the button, Loz? Where's the button?
To the left, in the shadows.
I found it. Man, there's so many names now on the end screen.
Really?
Yeah.
What's that one say?
Nick Evans.
What about that one?
Roof on Fire.
How about that one?
Scott Rogerson.
Ooh.